Good morning, everybody. Sorry we're a couple of minutes late. I want to welcome you to Bridges and Tunnel Committee meeting, and I'd like a motion on the minutes. Second? Well, not yet. I'm not. Andrew, don't jump.
No, it's to correct the
Yeah, that's the next question. Are there any questions on the minutes? Andrew, you got a question?
Well, we should just correct it under operations, so Martha's name is correct. There's no S on the end of it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Andrew.
I don't know.
Okay. So all in favor? Aye? Okay. As amended. Very good. And are there any speakers? No speakers? Okay. There we go. Oh, yes. We're going to start with the procurements on, give us the page.
Sorry. Procurements begin on page 63.
There's only two.
Right. We have two this month. Both procurements total $1.5 million. There's one non-competitive procurement. It's a modification to a non-competitive miscellaneous procurement contract with Oracle Corporation to fund the third year of a 5-year contract in the amount of $106,346.91 for updates to and maintenance support of bridges and tunnels software licenses that existed prior to the issuance of the MTA Enterprise License Agreement. It also provides $336,000 for on-site technical support and services needed to update the existing PeopleSoft system that we use for human resources and payroll systems. And it also provides $384,000 for on-site technical support related to the implementation of a new budgeting system, which the licenses will be purchased through the MTA contract, and I think it's at finance this month, that part of the Oracle arrangement. And lastly, it provides funding in the amount of $50,000 for additional training credits. That's the non-competitive procurement.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the procurements? So moved. Got a second?
Second.
No questions? All in favor?
Questions. I think it's a good contract. I spoke with David about it prior to the meeting here, and I think they worked very, very, very hard to get this thing right, and I believe it's right, and I think it's extremely good for the MTA.
Thank you. Jeff, yes.
One quick question.
Absolutely. Two. It's okay.
On the Oracle contract?
Yes.
Just curious, it's something to see when it's increased 470% since the beginning. Was that an expected increase in the contract? Did we significantly expand the scope once we had the contract?
Well, the way the contract is funded, or the way Oracle has arranged this contract, it's a 5-year contract, and every year we have to go back and for the licenses and the support for the base licenses, not the ones that are part of the new enterprise license agreement, we have to go back and negotiate with Oracle as to what that price is. So the original amount of the contract was only for the first year, and then every year thereafter we have to modify the contract through the 5th year.
You went into the 5-year contract and only had the first year funding?
That's right. We have funding in the budget every year. It's just a matter of how Oracle has arranged for this contract. Every year we have to go back to Oracle and negotiate the price of the maintenance and the licenses.
So the 470% probably doesn't truly reflect.
Right. I mean, obviously there's an addition. This year we're now going to be implementing a new budget system, which requires Oracle. That's over and above it.
You see 470%.
No, I understand. Yes.
If it's not an accurate compare, we probably should change it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it approved?
Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
We have no competitive procurements. We have one ratification. The competitively awarded public work contract with El Sol Contracting and Construction Company Incorporated was amended in the amount of $600,000 to provide further incentive payments to the contractor for completion of the rehab of the lower-level westbound approaches at the Verrazano Narrows Bridge before the 4th of July weekend, almost 2 months earlier than scheduled, You'll recall that previously we had cut 6 months from the original completion with a $6 million incentive to finish just before Labor Day. The potential for an even earlier end to the westbound side, which has been difficult for customers, became possible with this addition because of a relatively mild winter weather. This amendment provides significant improvement to the westbound summer traffic for the Verrazano customers.
Okay. Any other questions? But that's great. Anytime we can finish earlier, it makes it that much easier for our customers, and we don't lose anyone going another route or a free route, right, Jeff? We don't want that, right? The bridges and
I think
tunnels.
more importantly, it showed the people of Staten Island.
Well, that was a special situation.
The MTA is willing to step up to the plate and do the right thing, to get these things done quicker, to cut these commutes down and
Yeah.
so forth.
It's
Which the steps that we've taken over the past 3 or 4 months have been nothing but tremendous, and they've worked. And this is another product of just getting us there sooner.
yeah, and Frank, as you know, and I'm all for it. I'm happy to pay the extra money. We should be happy to pay the extra money to finish early, because it's that much less of a inconvenience. And it's just you know how, especially yourself, how horrendous that's been on the Verrazano, that area. Okay.
I think we have to do this one, right?
Yeah.
You want to move this one? Oh, I'll move it.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good.
I guess we go back to the beginning.
You got it. Okay. Thank you.
Before we take up the report on operations, I just want to mention that earlier this month we had an unfortunate fatal accident involving an employee of one of our contractors, Koch Skanska, who was working on the underside of the Triborough Bridge. The employee, Mr. Gino Gelormino of Long Island, fell from the bridge near Astoria Park and was taken to Elmhurst Hospital, where he passed away later that evening. The accident occurred while he was working on replacing the Triborough's 72-year-old bearings. It's not clear right now what exactly happened, and of course we're cooperating with the OSHA investigation. Our condolences go out to his wife and family and his children.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. He was I don't know how long he was with the company. I believe his age, he was in his early 40s, so
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
he left a family behind. Our report on operations begins on page 15. Traffic for March was 24.8 million crossings, which was approximately 1.9% lower than a year ago. We believe, again, higher gas prices continue to be the primary factor for the lower traffic that we saw in March. The price per gallon was 64 cents higher than it had been the year before. No, not necessarily. Traffic was dropping at around 1.5% even in February.
So didn't we expect a drop?
Yeah, we expect somewhere around a 1% drop, but it was somewhere a little less than that, actually, when you take into account what was already transpiring earlier in the year, when you compare year to year.
Dave, and this is why I asked you maybe 6 months ago, and you did it, which is great, to break out the Triborough crossings from Queens and Manhattan and Bronx, because Bronx to Manhattan drivers obviously have options, free options, whereas from the and Battery Tunnel to Manhattan drivers have options with free bridges, but everybody else does not have options. So, if you see, could we get from DOT whether there's been a large increase on the free crossings? Can we get that information?
Sure. Well, however frequently they do their traffic counts, we could try to access that information, sure.
Because that would tell you, if they're just not driving or if they're diverting their route.
Yeah, I gather, what's happening, as we all know, the higher gas prices are changing a lot of things. Even if people could travel for free at $4 or more a gallon, some people have decided not to travel at all by car and have found other means. So, and then the economy itself is starting to read the papers. They're beginning to see layoffs, and that's another factor. So whether it's our toll or whether it's the price of gas or whether it's the economy, it becomes hard. It becomes very clouded. I mean, you can look at it overall, but to pinpoint what might be the cause, it gets difficult as more variables are involved. But we'll take a look at what DOT's crossings look like. For April, our traffic right now looks to be a little lower than the prior year also. We estimate it to be at around 24.6 million crossings, or about 1.5% lower than in 2007. Also, for your information, on page 19, we have the report on concrete trucks that we are now producing every quarter for the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel and the Queens Midtown tunnels. For the first 3 months, the number of barred trucks or spillages are still very low. There were only 5 vehicles barred and 9 vehicles that had spillages out of over 10,700 vehicles, which has, I think, a 0.08% of all vehicles going through. So right now, it continues not to be a problem. But we'll continue to report on this quarterly.
How's the roadways holding up?
Good.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Okay. On page 21, if I might, is our first quarter 2008 customer environment survey. I'll ask Martha to give us a brief summary of the results.
The first quarter of the customer environment survey showed that operations met its goals in all the categories under the customer safety headings, as well as the toll plaza indicators and roadway indicators. Usually our largest efforts go into the customer safety goals, which include injuries that are as a result of vehicle accidents, as well as the number of vehicle accidents. So that usually is our biggest challenge in the customer survey, but we're proud to say that the first 3 months of 08, we came in better than goal in the 2 of the toughest categories that we calculate, and we have statistics on for years and years. So we're proud to say that it's in the books, and we're continuing to march at that type of a rate for the second quarter. But we still have a couple of weeks left in that. Well, I can tell you that we have challenges on the Triborough because we do change the construction patterns, and it's a heavily construction. The roadways are filled with construction zones. I always don't see a correlation between construction and with the number of accidents and accidents with injuries, but in this case we've had a learning curve, if you will, when we change the traffic patterns, and it has a tick up for certain types of projects. Fender benders, people not watching what they're doing, going too fast on the roadway. It's a number of issues, but overall, the statistics came out better than goal. But
Again, Jeff, this is all related to our efforts on enforcement. This is all related to the efforts on our safety enforcement, because they know we're here, and when they can see that we're doing the job of our highway unit for safety, people catch on, and they just obey the traffic signs. But if you have no enforcement, they don't.
Numbers speak for themselves. They look great.
Thank you.
Before we leave the survey, just bring it up, I wanted to appreciate David and I spoke earlier this week about looking at possible queue waiting time.
yes, sir.
Given that we're still showing 0 seconds to go through a queue.
Right.
Right. We're looking.
Get a handle as to what that means, exactly
Yep.
what are we measuring, how we could be showing 0. I
Right.
just appreciate the ongoing conversation about ways to fix that going forward.
We'll continue to work on it, and hopefully we'll come up with something that will present it in a different manner.
I have an idea on that. I'll talk to you both.
Martha, in the survey, you're lumping both Rockaway crossings in one, huh?
We do. There's not too much difference in the amount of accidents that we see between the Cross Bay and the Marine Parkway, and we just do it out of convenience. We could easily break them out, but we usually think of the Rockaways as one, even though we know there's two, but we usually consider them as one when we calculate our statistics. It's just a pattern that we've developed over the years. But, yeah.
Okay, if there are no other questions, the E-Zpass report for March begins on page 33. In March, we had 18.6 million E-Zpass crossings, which is almost 75% of all of our traffic. Weekdays, we saw about a 77% market share. On weekends, it was almost 70, a little under 70%. Both of those indicators are higher than a year ago. E-Zpass accounts at the end of March were 1.76 million, and we had active almost 3 million tags, which is also higher than what our statistics were a year ago.
Huge increase on the Bronx White coverage. Remember we were
Yes,
talking?
yes.
Huge increase.
Yeah, we've, as you know, we started, amongst other things, the E-Zpass on the Go program. We've been trying to follow where the trips are being taken, and half of the trips on our facilities are being taken either at the Triborough or the Bronx Whitestone, which is really the intent of marketing it in that area, the E-Zpass on the Go project. And the other another 25% either are taking the Throgs Neck or the Triborough Manhattan, which you would also expect people in the area that we're marketing E-Zpass on the Go to travel. So I think it's working. It's certainly helping that number tick up. I think also the fact that the discount that we're giving for E-Zpass has grown with the last toll increase. It's now 85 cents instead of 50 cents across those facilities, and given the price of gas, I think people are making the smart decision to move to E-Zpass.
More we doing E-Zpass, the better. Again, you and I talked about
Yes.
looking at new ways to promote E-Zpass. So,
Yes.
maybe not for this meeting, but next we can talk about where those sort of stand about handing out more of the cards, getting DMV to put them in.
Yes.
Renewals.
Absolutely.
Maybe next time we can talk about that.
Okay, fair enough. There are no other questions. Our financial report begins on page 43. For March, Bridges and Tunnels had revenues of $108.1 million. Toll revenues accounted for 97%, or $105 million of the 108. For the month of March, revenues were $1.9 million below budget. Again, it's all due to lower than expected traffic. Partially offsetting the lower traffic was higher revenues from the Battery Parking Garage and higher investment income. Year-to-date revenues were $302 million, or $3.7 million better than budget, and that's attributable to the fact that in January and February, what we budgeted was less than what we actually got in toll revenues because the weather was more favorable than what we had expected. There were fewer winter storms this year than there typically is in the past 10 years. Expenses before depreciation in March were $40.5 million, or $3.5 million above the budget. Variance was primarily caused by higher spending for painting and for E-Zpass tag purchases. Year-to-date spending before depreciation was $93.4 million, or $5 million below plan. Support to mass transit was $170.9 million, or $15.5 million above the budget through March. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them.
Okay, no, good.
Okay. On page 53 is our capital program report. Through April, we had commitments of $21.4 million against a plan of $24.8. In April, we committed $1.9 million for a prototype orthotropic deck to be laboratory tested for the Verrazano Narrows upper-level roadway deck replacement project. That was a contract that came through here, I think, in February that you approved. Completions remain at $14.4 million. Closeouts totaled $20.2 million for the month, giving us a year-to-date total of $192.3 million through April. That's the capital report.
Is all of the deck work on the Triborough supposed to be completed by?
All of the deck work?
Yeah,
I'll let Tom answer that one. I think
basically the stuff that's over
Yeah, I
Ward's
think it
Island
goes into
now.
another capital program.
Oh, it does?
Thank you.
And the last report we have this month is on page 69, which is our inventory report for the first quarter. Inventory in the first quarter decreased by $13,000, or 2.5%, to $516,000. Service levels met our goal and averaged 95% system-wide, and inventory turns exceeded our goal and reached 6.0 for the quarter. You want to take it?
Mike.
Everything that's in inventory.
We have a very small inventory.
So we have about a $500,000 inventory
not very
that we
large.
manage. It's not a big inventory.
This is, of course, just a snapshot in time.
Correct.
It's constantly using and replenishing.
Correct.
Right.
So it's just a snapshot in time.
That's exactly right.
Which tells you, in terms of the inventory turns, that'll tell you how much inventory we issue versus how much we have on hand at the end of the period.
But
Yeah.
us not knowing whether that's a good number or too short a number, I see where Jeff was going with that. It's
Ultimately, the key is the value of the inventory. That's what has costs associated with it. So keeping our inventory down has a beneficial effect on the cost of keeping the inventory.
At the same time, keeping the current level, keeping the what we call service level rate as high as possible.
Correct.
But down could also mean that there's so many projects going on that you're using the inventory faster.
That's correct.
So we don't really know whether, a smaller number is good for which reason. See what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's just that you're not, you're keeping it down because it's a good thing to keep it down, or because you have so many projects in play.
Yeah. It's a fair statement.
Okay. No, that's it for the rest. That's it for our packages.
Do we have any questions? Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Mitch? Okay, a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you. See you all next month. Thank you very much.